Reggie Fils-Aime is retiring. I mean, this guy worked at Nintendo for a really long time. In fact, I I don't I mean, I always paid attention, but only casually. But the entire time that I've been paying close attention to what Nintendo's been doing, Reggie has been there. He has been there at every E3 that I've watched. He's been there at it. He's been in the directs. I mean, not all of the directs, but more of them in the past. But like, he was this awesome character, and it's not often that you get somebody who's, they get their degree in business, that they're allow themselves to become this character. And that's what he was. I think of I'm trying to think of like some of my favorite moments with Reggie. There's of course the one where he is fighting Mr. Iwata when they announced the fact that in Smash 4 that we were going to be able to play as the Mii characters. So they had like this ridiculous Dragon Ball Z style fight between Mr. Iwata and Mr. Fils-Aime. And I always thought that he was really cool. There was that other one where they did like this weird claymation thing in the Nintendo Direct, and Reggie's up on stage. Claymation Reggie is up on stage, and somebody in the audience like shouts something about, when are we getting Mother 3 or something like that, and he takes his sunglasses off and burns him with his eyes. I just always thought Reggie was a super fun person to be in charge of Nintendo. And you can't get a much better fit for somebody to be in charge of video games, to have it be this absolutely personable seeming, really, really fun loving guy. I was just always a big fan of Reggie, and he always gave us some really, really great quotes. So this is the article that Nintendo posted at their PR site. So I posted this over at runjumpstomp.com. It says here, after more than 15 notable years at Nintendo of America and nearly 13 as its president and chief operating officer, Reggie Fils-Aime will retire. His last day with Nintendo will be April 15th. Doug Bowser, and no, that's not a joke, that's the guy's actual name. He's been working at Nintendo for a really long time. But Nintendo says Doug Bowser, Nintendo of America's current senior vice president of sales and marketing, will then succeed Reggie as president of Nintendo of America. Reggie then, Mr. Furukawa, who is the new president of Nintendo overall, basically Reggie's boss, he says, I really appreciate everything Reggie has done for Nintendo, inside and outside the company. Reggie is known as an exceptional leader. We are grateful that he is leaving the business in good shape with strong momentum. And talk about, this is me, not Mr. Furukawa, but talk about going out on top. You can't get much better than to retire when the switch is just hitting on all cylinders, or firing on all cylinders. Mr. Furukawa goes on to say, while we will miss him and we wish him the very best in his retirement, we are also pleased to have such an able successor ready to step into the role. Doug Bowser and the rest of the team will ensure a seamless transition and continued momentum for Nintendo. Reggie then says, Nintendo owns a part of my heart forever. It's a part that is filled with gratitude for the incredibly talented people I've worked with, for the opportunity to represent such a wonderful brand, and most of all, to feel like a member of the world's most positive and enduring gamer community. As I look forward to departing in both good health and good humor, this is not game over for me, but instead leveling up for more time with my wife, family, and friends. Then Doug Bowser, let's take just a second and everybody make a joke about the guy's name, because he works for Nintendo and his name is Bowser, and now he's the president. It's like somebody said that, Bowser is gonna beat Mario at corporate instead. So get all the jokes out of your system, pause the show for a second, we'll get them all done, and then we'll move on. We got him? Okay. I am jealous of his name. I think it's cool. So he says, it has been my great fortune to work with and be mentored by Reggie for 4 years at Nintendo of America, and rest assured, we will continue to build on his work to evolve and expand our brand, furthering Nintendo's global mission of creating smiles. There are millions more of those to come. And then the rest of the article, which you can find over at runjumpstomp.com, talks about his 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 oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? His path through the company, because he started at Nintendo of America as vice president of sales and marketing, which is what Doug Bowser is right now, and he started back in 2003, and then after only 2 years, he took over as president of Nintendo of America, or maybe it was 3 years of Nintendo of America. And this is all the way back during the GameCube and Game Boy Advance era. So, we have him to thank for a lot of that stuff. And I think that, a lot of people look at Nintendo and they say that all of the decisions are made at Japan. And I think that's true for a lot of the stuff. But Reggie was always an important part of Nintendo. We don't really know we don't know what his influence has been over the past 15 years. But I will say this. I know that both myself and a lot of people who are going to be watching E3 this year, we're going to be missing Reggie, because Reggie comes out on stage and man, that guy had a presence, not only because he was a giant of a person, but he was just awesome. And he had this presence that when he was up on stage, you paid attention to what he was saying. Big fan of Reggie Fils-Aime. I'm sorry to see him go, but I don't think that they would have done this if they didn't have a good steward in Doug Bowser. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Doug Bowser can do. Hopefully he brings the same personality to Nintendo of America, or to being the face of Nintendo of America. Although it seems to me that it's almost like Mr. Koizumi is taking up that role, because he seems to be the face of Nintendo right now. Mr. Furukawa isn't getting out there in front of people. And I don't think we've seen Reggie in a bit for a direct. So my guess is Mr. Koizumi, who, by the way, if you didn't know, I think that his first game that he worked on was Zelda Link's Awakening. So it must be pretty crazy for his team to be bringing Zelda Link's Awakening back to the Nintendo Switch. Anyway, hats off to you, Reggie. You're a gentleman and just an awesome dude, and you are going to be missed. I think that I'm looking forward to seeing what Doug Bowser does.